drilling process called fracking. Now, President Obama thinks it's great. It's dramatically cut America's dependence on foreign oil, but critics say it's catastrophic for public health and the environment. Either way, fracking's rapidly becoming a dirty word.
It's not bigger than Texas, it is Texas. Downtown Dallas. And that means the new neighbour moving into the suburbs around here may well be a drilling rig.
I know people who tried everything they possibly could, and they still have drilling right next to their houses, and they're very unhappy about it.
You don't have to travel far to witness a collision between community and commerce, family and industry.
To me, it just doesn't make sense to put a heavy industrial process right next to somebody's house.
This is Southlake, a prosperous community on the outskirts of Dallas. A place where usually money talks. But right now, the talk's all about the riches of the Barnett shale field underneath suburbs like Southlake.
There's so many things we don't know about this process. And that's really what became most frightening, is the things that are being generated during the fracking process we know have the potential to cause harm. Things like naphthene and benzene, which we know are linked to leukemia. We know are linked to cancers and other types of neurologic disorders.
The emergency room doctor and his band of suburban activists often gather here at the local Mexican restaurant with their children to discuss the perils of a process they may not have even heard of a few years ago, even in oil-savvy Texas, fracking.
And so this was where they were going to put it, yeah?
Correct, yeah. Just past that second fence line there. Would have been about 1,700 feet from my front door, and within about 1,100 feet of some of my neighbors.
Neighbours like Diane Harris and her family.
I'm not going to put a price tag on the health and safety and well-being of my family. There is no amount of money that will convince me that we should have this in the middle of our neighborhoods.
The process that so worries the doctor is hailed by the industry as the key to energy independence. The drill holes can go 3 kilometres down and then push out horizontally for kilometres as well. A cocktail of more than 500 chemicals, millions of litres of water and truckloads of sand is then used to break up the shale and release gas and oil.
Really, this is a new frontier. Nobody's done this. Nobody's done drilling in an urban setting and studied the long-term effects of what's going to happen. And so, again, it comes back to my health, clean air, clean water. Those are things that we can't live without. We can all live without gas royalties.
I knew that if I didn't act, and if gas drilling occurred near my home, and one of my children got sick, I would never forgive myself.
The method of gas drilling they use is called hydraulic fracturing, or fracking.
As many Southlakers school themselves up on the fracking process, this documentary has been proving popular at the local Blockbuster. It's called Gasland, and this is its most famous scene.
Whoa, Jesus Christ. I smell hair. Oh, damn.
And people started to realize, oh, my water's turning black, my water's bubbling, something smells funny, my kids are getting sick. They're all comparing information. And then they discover, lo and behold, that they can light their water on fire right out of the tap.
Jesus Christ.
Josh Fox is the Gasland guru.
It's really upsetting, actually.
Yeah.
Josh Fox has become the anti-fracking pinup, an inspiration for those fighting big oil, and a serious challenge to the industry.
Oil and gas pushes people around. It's bullying. It's aggressive. It gets its way. It's about time we're done with that way of doing business, with the culture of that, because it's literally toxic in every aspect. It's toxic to the environment, and it's toxic to our political process.
Here in Texas, they're used to big oil.
If you say Fort Worth and you talk about the energy business, you need to say XTO. XTO Energy.
And here, not far from Southlake, at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, the crowd loves their cowboys and the big oil operators that bring jobs and prosperity.
And they take care of our kids. God bless XTO. Thanks a bunch. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
In just a few years, drilling rigs have sprouted up through the Texas suburbs like towering hills hoists. Across from shopping centres, close to schools. Otherwise, residential neighbourhoods have become industrial zones. When the fracking starts, trucks gather round the well. The sand, water and chemical mix is pushed deep underground at extremely high pressure. Escaping vapour drifts in the wind.
It's pretty dangerous. I see a lot of injuries. I've seen somebody actually get blown all the way back from a blowout. I've seen one guy die on a blowout.
Fracking is now underway in 34 states in the US. And urban cowboy Taylor Hinkle is just one of those cashing in on the new energy boom on a Fort Worth rig.
Friday, man, it's payday. Said it's payday. It's great money. Like I said, it is a lifestyle. When I was younger, I always said it never happened to me, but once you get a taste of that money, it's addicting. If there was a problem on this location, if say somebody like sparked a lighter in the wrong place, or like a spark was discharged from like a piece of equipment, if this well was to blow up, who's to say that that gas is not going to ignite underneath the ground and blow 20 different ones up around the airport?
And that's the rub. There's a lot about what's happening under there that has people worried, and has the oil companies on the defensive.
Certainly the API's best practices and operational standards that we encourage industry to use are very important in how industry goes about doing its business to make sure that they are operating safely, environmentally sound, and respectful of the neighbors and the stakeholders.
One of the issues is chemical injection. The other issue is simply connecting the layers between these zones, which are toxic to groundwater, very far under the ground, where you have gas, oil, volatile organic compounds, benzene, toluene, ethyl benzenes, normally occurring radioactive material. And what you've just done is you've created a connecting straw between layers that nature separated out millions of years ago with the groundwater.
In 2005, the Bush administration passed an act exempting fracking from the Safe Drinking Water Act.
That means they don't have to apply for a permit for chemical injection. And you're creating a highway of gas and oil that's going through the aquifer, protected by a 1-inch cement casing. And you ask the industry, do casings fail? And they say, of course. 50% of them fail over the life of the well. 50% of them fail over the life of the well, which means that in 20 to 30 years, you've got water contamination situation that's potentially catastrophic.
It has definitely divided the town. It has not brought harmony to Southlake, let's put it that way.
In Southlake, the fracking furor has provoked argument and insult. Zena Rucker is one of the original landholders here.
And this is my backyard.
She considers herself a dedicated environmentalist.
I love my backyard.
And a conscientious conserver.
I'm a true environmentalist. I drive a Prius. I never take anything to the garbage. It either gets in the compost or it gets recycled.
She owns 75 acres, pretty countryside that's worth a bomb on paper. A while ago, gas companies approached her with offers for the mineral rights on the property.
There's my hanger and my windsock.
The checks were too big to resist, even for a Prius driver.
There was one that was pretty close to $300,000. The last one, I cashed some of them already. But they led me to believe that had they drilled, I could easily make $30,000 a month.
But her bonanzas hit a wall. The local council has now sided with the fracking opponents and imposed a moratorium on development.
I still can't get over being able to light your drinking water on fire. Even down on the farm, people are polarised by fracking and frackers.
They're here to rape this land, make as much money as they can, and get the hell out of here. They will come on your property, look you straight in the eye, and lie to you. And they will leave without a second thought, and they do not care.
Everybody gets jealous.
Dave, he's just a friend.
I know, and I still don't like him.
Some people get tempted.
Do you know how childish you sound?
Who are you buying sexy lingerie for?
How do you know about that?
But nobody.
You're cooking up the biggest robbery this country's ever seen.
I don't want to see you back inside.
Gets to choose their family.